great time. It was sold out, had about 300 people there. They raised nearly $30,000 in one day for the Road to Recovery. Yeah. I put up some videos of it. You could see them on the page. David Bailey was there, Brock Glover, Brad Lackey, of course, Billy Grossi, Tom Rapp, Jim Cook, Donnie Cantalupi was there. It was a really, really good time, and the food was great. They had it set up beautiful. It was at this golf course, but they had it set off on this trail, this wood chip trail with beautiful picnic tables. It was really nice. And 30 grand. Not bad. No, that's this weekend. I'll be talking about that on the show in a minute. Okay? Yeah. Random share giveaway. Don't forget. Yep.
We're live.
Vintage Motocross Q&A. You're going to see some really great stuff. The starting line is, of course, brought to you by Motion Pro. Jordan, let's see what we're going to be seeing on the show tonight. The next time I tried this segment, we've got some good questions that came in this week. I'll be giving you my responses. In the Moto Showcase from the International Motocross Museum, an incredible factory race Honda, ridden by Johnny O'Mara. We've got a video. Stick around to see that. Here's the problem segment. We've got some problems. We've got some answers. One of them involves having some custom seat foam made. We'll tell you about it. What's it worth, a 1974 YZ125? We've got all that and a whole lot more coming up tonight on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Abadi. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thank you, Jordan, Chelsea, and Susie, for helping me put the show together. Thank you, the viewers at home, and for those that watch on YouTube as well as Facebook. Don't forget to keep sharing the show. Whether you are on Facebook or YouTube, we will have a random share giveaway winner a little bit later on in the show. The lucky winner will get this beautiful sticker sheet, compliments of Vitco. If you're watching on YouTube, please comment Motion Pro. That's Motion Pro if you're watching on YouTube. Please subscribe. You've heard me talk about it. You've seen me put up some posts on Facebook. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's growing. All of our shows are there. All of our interviews are there. When you subscribe, you'll get a little alert like this. It tells you when we're live on YouTube, and you can catch the show there on the big screen TV, because that's how the experts, that's how the pros are doing it. And don't forget, when you subscribe, at the end of this month, I will announce two winners. Each one will get a one-year subscription to VMX Magazine and Racer X. I want to thank the folks at VMX Magazine and Racer X, of course, for putting up those subscriptions to our viewers. So please subscribe. You got to subscribe. We will pick a winner at the end of October, and we will announce it here on the show who gets a year subscription to Racer X and VMX Magazine. And as I mentioned just a little bit ago, how are the pros watching it? How are the experts watching Vintage Motocross Q&A? They're sitting back on their couch commenting from their phone while they watch it on their big screen TV. It's a great way to see the show. It comes in clear in HD, and you can comment about all the little segments that we have here, and that's a great way to enjoy the show. And they tell me that's where the experts are doing it, and there's a lot of experts out there. Keep the cards and letters coming in, friends. Keep those Moto Showcase bikes coming. The questions, the comments, things you might want to see on the show. I did have some questions questions this week about a new product that's coming out from Vinco. I'll be telling you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But yes, you know how to get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me right through Facebook, or my email is just about all over the place on Facebook too. So keep the cards coming in, keep the letters coming in, and the bikes and the questions. We really love it. As always, I want to thank our sponsors, Motion Pro, Vinco, Racer X Magazine, Golan Products, Preston Petty Products, Sunrise Vapor Blasting, Northwest Mako CZ, and Full Circle Racing Limited.
The Next Time Try This segment is brought to you by Vinco. Keep the ride going. On your older bikes, you have a coil. It looks like this. The mount on the coil is steel. The mount is also sometimes molded through the coil itself and then pressed on. I'm going to try and give you a closer look at what that looks like, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, because it is steel and it's not plated, over years, they'll get rusty. This can cause a variety of problems. Number one, it's going to cause a problem when you have grounding. The screws are going to rust. This mount is going to rust. It may rust on the frame. That could be a part of some of your electrical problems. And I want to give you a little tip on how you can fix this. You can sand this down, get all the rust off, or use whatever you can to get the rust off. I would not recommend bead blasting. There's a possibility you will hit the plastic, although you could mask it off. I definitely would not recommend vapor blasting because there's water involved at high pressure. What I would recommend you do is take some masking tape like this, okay? Mask off your wires, mask off your coil. And an important part of this is take some old screws like this right here. Put washers on them. Put washers on the other side, put nuts on the other side too. Why? You don't want the paint getting inside of that hole and causing a grounding problem, much like the rust did earlier. With some regular prime and paint, you can just paint over that mount and it'll last a good long time. It'll look nice if anybody's looking underneath there at a show. Also, it won't cause you any problems with rust. The Next Time Try This segment is brought to you by Vinco. Keep the ride going.
In the Moto Showcase tonight, we take a look at a very interesting bike that I was able to videotape at the International Motocross Museum. And with the blessings and courtesy of Terry Good, we're going to bring it to you right now. Jordan, let's roll the tape.
This week's Moto Showcase bike is featured with the permission and courtesy of Terry Good and the International Motocross Museum. The 1981 Honda RC250 was ridden by Johnny O'Mara and features some incredible technical advances that are still seen on production bikes today. The brake plates are sand-cast magnesium. However, the hubs themselves were machined from billet magnesium. Nikasil brake liners are fused to the magnesium hubs. The front wheel also features a double leading shoe front brake for the first time in the Honda lineup. For a 250, the crankcases are quite small and are also sand-cast magnesium. Different exhaust pipes as well as cylinders were used depending on the track and race conditions. For Supercross, an air-cooled configuration was preferred. However, this same bike could be used with a water-cooled engine for outdoor racing. Another first at the time was the padding on top of the smaller Supercross gas tank. This was only used indoors as the bike would require a much larger capacity gas tank for outdoor races. Most every fastener on this bike is either titanium or aluminum, with steel only being used in extremely high-stress areas. Another first is the removable subframe, which made for much easier service on the rear shock. The rear shock itself is a works shower unit with a detachable reservoir. The forks were second-generation cartridge forks, but with adjustable damping and compression. This is the bike that Johnny O'Mara rode to the historic Motocross the Nation's victory in Lamel, Belgium in 1981, the start of U.S. domination for 13 years. To learn more about the 1981 Honda RC250, go to mxworksbikes.com.
This week's Preston Petty special is the headlight mount kit for just $39.95. Now, you've seen the Preston Petty headlight number plate combination. Sometimes it really fits very snugly against the triple clamps, and with that big number plate on top of it, you can wind up with a little bit of a cable problem. With these aluminum billet pieces, and they come in different sizes from like 30 millimeters up to 40, you can mount them between your triple clamps. It brings that plate out a little bit, makes everything move nice and freely. It's also a great way to mount just a regular number plate to your motocrosser. $39.95 this week at Preston Petty Products. In the Hear the Problem segment tonight, which is brought to you by Motion Pro, we take a look at some of your questions and comments. Jordan, what do we got up first? Oscar Gayton, I'm converting 76 YZ air forks to spring forks and want to change the canisters to caps. They measure 30 millimeter by I can't see it on the screen. I think it's a 6 millimeter thread. I'm not really sure. I can't see it on the screen. Anyway, who makes them? Does anybody make them? Oscar, I've got great news for you. I've done this conversion. I did it a few years ago. I've got a picture of the exact same bike right here. What I did was I had a 1975 YZ360B, and I set it up like Jim Weinert's OW from the 1975 season. I think Jordan's got a picture of it right here, if we can get it up on the screen. There it is. Okay, so when it was in yellow trim, I tried to make it look like Weinert's OW in 75, where it had the air canister forks. I changed my mind, wanted to do something different a few years later and make it look like an OW from Japan, which did not have those canisters on it. You can use fork caps from any 36 millimeter fork from Yamaha from those years. Even 75s will fit. So a 75 MX 250B, a 75 MX 400B, a 76 YZ 125C. All those caps will fit those air canister forks. And Oscar, I know you're a spring guy, so you know all about how to do the springs, but the cap isn't that difficult to come by. It came on a variety of bikes in 1975 and 1976. I've done it. There's a picture of it right there. Joe's customer. Yeah, I have a customer that I'm restoring a Harley Baja 100 for, and I was having difficulty finding a seat foam for it, and he was out looking around too, and he couldn't find anything. But we did discover a place right in California, and the name of it, I have it right here on the screen. Here it is. California Motorcycle Upholstery. They're on Moore Park Avenue in Moore Park, California. There's the phone number. They do have a website as well. And I sent them the pan that I had, and I was lucky because I had the old foam as well. But a lot of guys want either a taller foam, maybe a little bit of a thinner foam, sometimes a more dense foam. This guy down here at Motorcycle Upholstery in Moore Park, I spoke to him. His name is JC. He said he can make anything we want. And I did send it to him. These are the pictures of the actual seat pan itself. I just got the pictures back yesterday, and some of them today, in fact. And he did a beautiful job by the way it looks. When I get it back, probably early next week, I'll have it on the show and let you know for sure exactly how it looks. But this guy said he can do it, and he sent me pictures of it. It was very, very reasonably priced, and he'll make the foam any style you want. But he prefers you send the old foam with it if you can. If you can't, he'll make one, but it might cost you a few bucks more. So there is a place out there that makes custom seat foams for you guys that are looking for something either a little taller or maybe a little shorter. Here's a question I've been getting all week long from everybody and their mom. Is it true, Joe, that Vinco is reproducing air shocks? Yeah, they are. They are making a shock that is a copy of that famous shock that came out during the 70s and a lot of guys used. It will come with a manual just like this, and the replacement parts will be available as well. I spoke to Jay this afternoon from Vinco, and I'm going to tell you exactly what he told me. The shocks are being assembled in Iowa, okay, at Vinco. There will be parts available. Everything will be available in the next 60 to 90 days. They do have them. They're being assembled. It will come with a kit, with a manual just like this, and the parts will be interchangeable with the shocks that you were buying in the 70s and 80s that I was told probably not to mention in the show. But anyway, they will be available the next 60 to 90 days. They're going to retail for under $800. I'll tell you that. They're not on Vinco's website yet, but I do have pictures of them. I have heard about them. I know they were tested on Kurt Leverton's bike and a few other people who have been testing the shocks. They work great. They're going to be available soon. I'll let you know exactly when. But it'll be the next 2 or 3 months.
Hi, you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. We'll be right back.
We gotta pray, Rick. We gotta
after this
pray.
prayer.
Hi, I'm Jeff with Motion Pro, introducing you to the Masterlink Press Tool.
Now the Masterlink Press Tool is an innovative addition to our wide variety of chain tools here at Motion Pro, and what makes this tool so unique is that it both presses on and presses off Masterlink side plates. It's designed to be used with all 50 series clip style links and performs the job very easily. The Masterlink Press Tool is constructed with a billet aluminum body and hardened steel pins for long-lasting durability. It's affordably priced at $28.99 and is available from your favorite dealers nationwide.
In the What's It Worth segment tonight, we take a look at a 1974 Yamaha YZ125. This is, of course, brought to you by Motion Pro, and I'm going to tell you this. This is the segment of the show where we encourage you to put in what you think in the comment section, what you think this bike recently sold for. I will tell you this, that it sold on October 15th. It was sold in Michigan. Jordan's going to go through the slides. I'll tell you a little bit more about the description. Up for bids is a vintage numbers matching early 1974 Yamaha YZ125 motocrosser. The bike is mostly original. It is a 47-year-old survivor. It starts easily, runs strong, and shifts smoothly through all the gears. The bike's front and rear suspension work freely. There's no leaking. The tires seem to be in excellent condition, as well as the chain and sprockets. The side stand tab has been re-welded to the frame, and an aftermarket silencer has been added to the pipe, all by the previous owner, as can be seen in the pictures. Also in the pictures are several cosmetic blemishes that come from being a survivor. The bike does not have a title, but will come from a bill of sale from me. All sales are final. This is a no reserve auction. So what do you think this bike sold for? $2,000, $2,700, $3,000 bucks. This bike sold for $3,550, $3,550 on eBay. Little bikes are coming up in price, you know, as the 74 CR125 bikes are getting to be really, really high in price. This is really growing in the market, I think, and I'm seeing prices go up on the 74 YZ125. $3,550. There you have it. Full Circle Racing still running a great special on those hubs. They'll disassemble them, bead blast them, powder coat them in either gloss or satin black for just $50. $10 more if you want the brake plate done as well. Get a hold of Tom McAllister for all your wheel needs, including spokes, hubs, rims, you name it. Tom's got it up there. Full Circle Racing Limited. Have you ever heard of, this is of course brought to you by Sunrise Vapor Blasting, have you ever heard of a Rumi motorcycle? Very interesting story about the Rumi. Jordan, let those slides roll. I'll tell the folks all about it. The Moto Rumi organization was formed at the beginning of the 20th century and originally supplied cast components to the textile industry. At the outbreak of World War II, Rumi became involved in manufacturing miniature submarines and torpedoes. At the end of the war, in 1950, Rumi decided to get involved in the manufacturing of lightweight motorcycles. It was also basing their power plants on a horizontal twin two-stroke unit of 125 cc capacity. In 1952, with the popularity of scooters, Rumi started manufacturing the Squirrel, a cast aluminum monocoque body with tubular swing arm, rear suspension, and telescopic forks with 14-inch wheels and 3 gears. In 54, brought the production of the Formicino, or Little Ant scooter, which was reputedly designed by Salvati. A competition won the Italian national championship in 1954. Scooter racing was huge in Italy in the 50s. The entire body, with the exception of the front forks, crash shields, and leg shields, was produced in cast aluminum, with the front and rear castings bolted to the engine to form a monocoque, which resulted in a very, very lightweight and extremely rigid construction. The rear swing arm, chain case, and silencer box were also constructed in cast aluminum. These models originally had 8-inch wheels, but in 58, they put 10-inch wheels on them for a little bit better stability and ground clearance. In 57, 58, and 60, Rumi won the famous Bol d'Or 24-hour race at Montlhéry in France, and subsequently Rumi did produce a bike called the Bol d'Or scooter, named after that race. In the UK, it sported drop-top handlebars and some chrome plating, but it still had the 22-millimeter carburetor. Sadly and unfortunately, during the 60s, Rumi went into liquidation, and Donino Rumi, the archangel of the Rumi motorcycle and scooter, went back to his prime love of being a sculptor and an artist. And I'll tell you, sculpting and artistry looks like it really, really came through on the Rumi scooter. So a very interesting story about the Moto Rumi. If someone asks you if you've ever heard of a Rumi, you tell them, yeah, I saw it on Vintage Motocross Q&A with Joe Body. Mark Farriester. I was hanging out with Mark this past weekend down at the Northern California Motocross Reunion. We had a great little meeting. Anyway, send all your parts that need vapor blasting to Mark Farriester at Sunrise. He'll put them in that tank. They come back nicer than new, never changes the profile of the metal. If you have any dissimilar metals that are attached to it, like brass in a carburetor or something of that nature, Mark's going to take care of that too. It'll come back just as nice as new without changing the profile of the metal. I want to thank Mark Farriester for all he has done for us here at Vintage Motocross Q&A, and I know he's done for a lot of customers too. A lot of people are sending Mark their parts for their bikes, whether it's for their planes, boats, cars, or motorcycles, whether it's a carburetor or a set of hubs. Get it over to Mark Farriester at Sunrise Vapor Blasting in Modesto. We're going to take a commercial break. Don't forget to keep sharing the show. When we get back, we are going to have a winner of tonight's random share giveaway. This beautiful sticker sheet, compliments of Vinco. When we come back.
Classic and vintage dirt bikes are more than a hobby. It's not just about the ride. It's about the work that goes in. The work that keeps you connected to the ride. It's about bringing the bike back to life and doing it with your own hands. It's about the adrenaline and adventure. And when it comes to putting all the pieces together, only Vinco knows the bikes and parts the way you do. Vinco, keep the ride going.
As promised, the winner of tonight's random share giveaway winner is John Lockwood. John Lockwood. If you're still watching, inbox me your address. I'll get you this nice sticker sheet. Compliments of Vinco. Keep the ride going. John Lockwood, you are tonight's random share giveaway winner. This Week in Motocross History is brought to you by Racer X Magazine, the finest publication on your newsstand now. Also available online. Don't forget to see our ad in the back of Racer X. 1937, Evel enters the world. That's right, on October 17th, it was Evel Knievel's birthday. Evel Knievel, as we all know, perhaps the greatest stuntman in history, was born in Butte, Montana, to Robert and Anne Marie Keogh. Evel Knievel, born October 17th, 1937. 72, it was a dash for cash. A real interesting story here once again. Swedish maker rider Aki Jansson topped the troubled Road Atlanta Trans Am, where hot weather and a mix-up over the cash-only rule for $10,000 in purse money caused a big dust-up, almost a shutdown of the event. Instead, the money did show up in time, and 31 riders had decided that they would go in a 3-moto format of 30 minutes a moto. Jansson was the overall winner. Suzuki's Roger DeCosta was second, and in a high watermark for Americans in that series, Yamaha's Jimmy Weiner took a third place that day. Jansson's teammate Hans Meesch would have been second overall, but his muffler fell off in the third and final moto, bringing out the black flag for the moto from the AMA referee, John Lancione. But when the German failed to stop, he was disqualified for the entire event. Weiner took third, but Aki Jansson did win. And that $10,000 was spread throughout all the racers in cash. Something a little bit different. You might not think it has. It is MX history, but it is over 10 years ago. And it was the first time somebody had won $1 million in one day, the Monster Millions, and it was Ryan Villopoto. Feld Motorsports holds the first ever Monster Energy Cup in Las Vegas, which comes with a $1 million bonus for any rider who wins all three of the 10-lap events, with top AMA Supercross riders Chad Reed, James Stewart, and Justin Barcia all electing to sit out the event, and Ryan Dungey only entering at the last minute aboard his new KTM 450. It was just a clean shot for Ryan Villopoto, and he did sweep all 3 motos and did get his $1 million. RV took full advantage of it too. He reeled in all 3 races and won $1 million that evening. I don't think that's paid out in $1 million in one night. I think it's like the lottery where you get 50,000 $50,000 over 20 years or something like that. But anyway, Villapoto did do it in 2011. Got $1 million in one night. That's it in motocross history. In the announcements tonight, the announcements, of course, brought to you by Golan Products. I've been telling you about this filter. You know all about it. It's made of billet aluminum, comes in blue, orange, and red. It's the last filter you're ever going to buy. Go over to Golan Products and check out this filter. It can be cleaned indefinitely, and they're still looking for distributors. Visit them at golanpro@yahoo.com. Vintage Motocross Radio. No interview again this weekend. I will be on the road at an event that I'm going to tell you about in just a second. But you can catch all of our interviews on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Breaker, Cashbox. Of course, they're available on Facebook and YouTube anytime. We've got some good ones coming up in the future. Brian Myerscough, Ricky Johnson, Vic Krause, and a couple of more. They're coming up once I settle back in on a weekend. We've been away from home almost every weekend this month. What's next, Jordan? Oh, I want to congratulate this year's inductees into the AMA Hall of Fame, Dave Arnold, Gary Denton, and Ryan Villapoto. By the way, there's a good interview with Dave Arnold on Vintage Motocross Radio. If you get a chance, take a listen. This is why I won't be home again this weekend. Langston Motorsports has their 5th annual collector bike show. That is on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I will be the MC of the event. I'm really looking forward to that. And so far I've heard that Rex Staten, Marty Tripes, Ronnie Turner, Jeff Ward, David Bailey, Scott Burnworth, and a few more guys will be there on hand signing autographs and having a great afternoon down at Langston Motorsports. I hope you could join me. Oktoberfest coming up quick, October 31st. That is at Glen Helen. That is part of the Old School Scrambles Racing Group. There's a class for everybody, and kids always ride for free, thanks to the generosity of Rod Lake Racing. That's coming up October 31st at Glen Helen. The finish line this week, Northwest Mako CZ has a great little special for you guys who want to get rid of that Bing carburetor on your Mako and put on a Mikuni. They've got a spigot mount for just $22.95. $22.95 available at Northwest Mako CZ. Don't forget, Christmas is just around the corner and the cool weather is here. Get a Vintage Motocross Q&A or t-shirt or hoodie, just $19.95 in gray and white, a couple of bucks more. You can get a hoodie. Follow the link in the show description. Send us a picture of you wearing that hoodie or that t-shirt. We'll put it here on the show. We've got some. We need to get those up, Jordan. Vintage Motocross Q&A sponsorship opportunities are available. Please send me a message. I'll get you a subscription package or a proposal package, a sponsorship proposal package. And you'll get to see some of the benefits that all of our sponsors are seeing here from Preston Petty Prox, Motion Pro, and all the rest. It's not as expensive as you think. And for a couple of guys up there, I custom tailored a few things to fit their budget, and they're really happy they're on board now. So get a hold of me. I'll get you a sponsorship proposal package. And if you can, don't forget, join me this weekend down at Langston Motorsports in Paris. It's a great little bike show going on down there with some legendary racers. And I think Jay, my buddy Jay, is going to be there from Vinco. We'll have him on the mic too. So that's it for tonight for Vintage Motocross Q&A. Don't forget, John Lockwood, you are the random share giveaway winner. Get us your address. I'll get you out that nice sticker pack. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to join us next week on Vintage Motocross Q&A. I'll see. I can't make guarantees about this. I'll call him. Gino! Gino! Rocco! Come on, boys. Credits you rolling people are waiting. Gino!